What have you changed your mind about in the course of your life, and what was it that made you think differently?
Oh, what I've changed about is my politics.
Hmm.
I was a libertarian. When I first came to real public attention, um, uh, things like The Moral Maze on the BBC, I was a radical libertarian. I've become a conservative. In other words, I suppose I've rediscovered that history actually matters rather than is a jolly good way of living a nice life. I've been immensely fortunate, John. I've been able to make a very good living, look at this, a very good living out of something that I love. But as I've got older, I've realized it's more than that. I've realized that there are things which are on the point of vanishing irretrievably. And as I said, I think my own generation has made terrible, terrible errors, but we are the about to be missing link, as every week is a funeral. So I've changed my mind politically very sharply. And when I say conservative, I mean a Burkean conservative. I do not think the solution to our present discontents, as terrible as they are, is a kind of get up in the morning and think of something new. I'm fond of Nigel Farage. I know him quite well and all the rest of it. But I fear at the moment, it may change, there's a shallowness. There's just, let's reach something off the shelf. What we need is a recognition that what has gone wrong was a repudiation of this astonishing continuous history, which you remember, we were unique in Europe in that we were able to preserve what you talked about, the monarchy, Parliament, the House of Lords, that historic constitution stretching, which Pericles again is the basis of the country, stretching right back. We were the only country that in the 19th century, because we had already had the idea that to be governed by law in Britain, in England really, is to take part in the making of it. That's what the idea of Parliament is about. You're bound by a law made in Parliament because you have been in Parliament either in person or via your representative. Now that was mythical in the Middle Ages. In the 19th century, it becomes real. So whereas in France or Germany or Italy or wherever else you look at, people were clamoring to tear down the Ancien regime, in Britain, they were clamoring to become part of it. There's a fundamental conservatism. The Chartists weren't saying, tear down Parliament. They're saying, we want the vote. Even the women, even the monstrous regiment of the suffragettes, they weren't saying, we hate Parliament, saying, we want to be there. It's no accident, is it, that the first female MP is one of the is one of the richest women in the country, Nancy Astor, with her magnificent town palace at the corner of St James's Square. And it's this, Blair and the horror of Alistair Campbell, that master of propaganda, which is wonderfully described by F.M. Cornford as that branch of the art of lying. No accident. These people foolishly, shallowly tear it down. And what they do, they construct something, but it's not simply unhistoric, it is unfunctioning. As we know, every bit of the state is at war with every other bit of the state. Why we can do nothing. Why there's the absurdity of HS2. Why there's the absurdity of the Bat Tunnel. And that's because we ruptured our history. But conservatism is, and again, the Conservative Party absolutely forgot this. Theresa May, the nasty party or whatever. You are a conservative because you believe that the past is not a straitjacket. It's not a textbook. It's not how you do it. But it's this astonishingly fertile soil. And you don't grow a plant by uprooting it. And this is what we've tried to do in the 20th century. We've torn things up by their roots. And we've been surprised that they've withered.